Stop, folks! Stop! Back up!
Now at noon, the manhunt continues for the shooter who killed right-wing activist Charlie Kirk during a speaking event at a college campus in Utah. What investigators know about the shooter and local reaction to Kirk's death coming up. Plus,
we want to hire and retain staff who are skilled.
Hundreds of Vancouver school employees will vote today on whether or not to go on strike, what those workers are demanding, and the district's response. Then later. Today marks 24 years since the terrorist attacks on September 11th, 2001. We'll see how people across the country are remembering the lives that were lost. KGW News at noon starts right now. And we start with this. Kids in Vancouver's Evergreen School District may soon get to start their school year after missing nearly 3 full weeks of classes already because of an ongoing worker strike. Thanks for joining us this afternoon. I'm Drew Carney. The district announced late last night that it's reached a tentative agreement with the workers on a new contract. Thomas Schultz has been covering this story for us for weeks now. So Thomas, what are we hearing from the workers about this tentative deal?
Well, Drew, workers tell me this morning that they're excited and relieved to have a tentative agreement, but still are waiting to see if it's good enough for them to be able to sign off on. When we spoke to workers this morning, they hadn't seen that tentative agreement just yet, though they will see it this afternoon. For weeks during this strike, workers like paraeducators and maintenance staff have pushed for higher wages and safer working conditions. If nearly 1,400 classified union workers approve the contract, schools in Evergreen will reopen tomorrow. That would be a huge deal for thousands of families here. The school year was supposed to begin on August 26. So far, students have missed nearly 3 weeks of class time, and recently those contract negotiations have gotten really messy. The district actually threatened to sue the union in order to end the strike. This morning, a court hearing was scheduled before being canceled, thanks to that tentative agreement being reached. Still, before actually ratifying a deal, there's a few things staff are looking for.
Respect, being able to be safe at school, more money. Everything's going up right now. Our salaries weren't.
And that's one of the big things here. More money was a big reason for this strike. Now we're expecting to know by 8 o'clock tonight if those union members do agree to this new contract. If so, the superintendent here at Evergreen Public Schools says that he'll send out a message to staff and families right after 8 o'clock tonight, telling them school is back on. Drew?
All right, Thomas Schultz live for us this afternoon in Vancouver. So that's the latest on the largest school district in Southwest Washington, but now the second largest. The Vancouver Public School District is dealing with the possibility of its own worker strike, with those workers voting today on whether or not to hit the picket line. Nearly 800 employees are involved here, including paraeducators and technology specialists, who are also pushing for higher wages, which they say will limit staff turnover.
We want to hire and retain staff who are skilled. It's much easier for the kids, and kids respond well and they're more successful if they have staff who they know.
The workers' union has been bargaining with the district on a new contract since April. The district says it remains hopeful that a strike can be avoided. So if the workers do vote in favor of striking, it wouldn't start until next week. But if it does happen, it also means another 20,000 plus Vancouver students would be home from school starting next week. The Portland Public School District may have finally landed a building to house its Center for Black Student Excellence. Voters approved $60 million for this project more than 5 years ago. It may start to finally take shape. So during a school board meeting this week, board members unanimously approved spending $16 million on a piece of property in North Portland at the corner of North Fremont and Vancouver Avenue. The district's plans for the Center for Black Student Excellence include tutoring opportunities and support systems for students. School leaders hope to get final approval to buy this property by December. Quick break from the news headlines this afternoon to check out Rod Hill standing out there on the KGW weather deck. Rod?
Yes.
How's the weather out there?
You know, I'm not used to it being cool, so I'm kind of chilly up here with just my shirt on and no jacket. We were correct on sunrise this morning when we told you it would be an absolute solid low overcast continuing at the noon hour, and that's what we have. Any wind up here probably no more than about 5 miles per hour. I'm on the weather deck, brought to you by Rick's Custom Fencing and Decking. Here's the way it looks out along the Columbia River. We'll go to our Vancouver, the Springs at the Waterfront Live Cam. This is a great new camera because we can give you so many different views. We're looking at, of course, at the PDX control tower there across the Columbia River. You can see the cloudy skies, and the cloud deck has been thick enough that we're just not seeing much in the way of any temperatures out there. I'm going to tell my director, Mr. Paz, that my tablet to change the maps is not working. So Chris, if you can find that button that you have to change the maps, I would appreciate it. We have temperatures generally in the low to no more than the mid 60s out there right now. And there it is, 64 degrees. Thank you, Chris. Go ahead and let's hit another button. I want to show you the satellite picture. This is the visible image. It's going to play the last 3 hours until right there. Look out, see the white that extends through Hood River, through Portland, back to Tillamook. Basically no breaks anywhere in the cloud cover. Let's show another live camera. This one is from downtown Portland, looking across Willamette. There you go. Let's see what the temperature is. Chris, hit the button there. And we've got a temperature out at the airport right now of 64. One more button and this will show you your day planner this afternoon as we get up to 72 at 4 o'clock. Here's the catch. Just to get up to 70, we will need some sun breaks. Not positive we're going to get them. I think it's a 50-50 proposition. Hey, coming up, we're starting to zero in on that, what I think is a likelihood of rain on Sunday. That's part of your 7-day forecast up a little bit later in the show. I'll be in the studio and I'll be hitting the buttons myself to change the maps. For now, Chris, not Mr. Paz, let's go back down to Drew in the studio.
All right, thank you, Rod. Let's get to our national headlines this afternoon, starting with this: the manhunt continuing for the shooter who killed conservative activist Charlie Kirk during a speaking event at Utah Valley University yesterday. This morning, the FBI released these photos of a person of interest described as appearing to be of college age. Two people were initially taken into custody, but they were both released overnight when no actual connection was found between them and the shooting. NBC's Morgan Chesky has the latest.
Yeah, here in Orem, Utah, authorities sharing some stunning new details in a press conference where they were finally able to start to build a bit of a timeline regarding the actions of this gunman, saying that they believed he arrived on campus here at Utah Valley University at 11:52 a.m. and that through surveillance footage, they were able to piece together whom they believe is what appears to be a college-aged male making his way through stairwells onto a roof of a building where they say at 12:20 p.m. he fired that single fatal shot that killed 31-year-old Charlie Kirk. Now, this shot was roughly about 200 yards away. They say that following that shot, the gunman then left the roof, jumped off a building, and ran into a nearby neighborhood. Now, because of nonstop investigative work, they were able to recover a high-powered bolt-action rifle in a nearby wooded area adjacent to that neighborhood. They believe that is the weapon the gunman used. They cleared that area, and they made it very clear that they don't believe this community at large is at risk because they believe this was a targeted attack at this Turning Point USA event on campus. And students here tell me that this was an event that they had known about for some time, with posters being posted and everyone well aware that Charlie Kirk was going to begin his nationwide tour right here in Orem, Utah. Meanwhile, FBI encouraging anyone with video or pictures of that scene to please share with them immediately. We'll send it back to you.
Again, that was Morgan Chesky reporting for us here this afternoon. Meanwhile, elected officials in Oregon, including Governor Tina Kotek, are condemning the violent killing of Charlie Kirk. The governor issued a proclamation this morning that all flags at state public institutions will be flown at half-staff from sunrise to sunset this coming Sunday. In a statement, Governor Kotek said, quote, "I offer my deepest condolences to Mr. Kirk's family. This attack," she says, "is inexcusable. Violence has absolutely no place in our democracy. America is better than this." Oregon Senator Jeff Merkley posted this statement on X saying, "My thoughts are with the Kirk family and with the Utah Valley University community. Opposing views should never be suppressed with violence." And finally here, Oregon House Republican leader Christine Drazan also released a statement saying, quote, "The shocking assassination of Charlie Kirk should horrify every American who believes in free speech and public debate. Any extremist, she says, who has called for violent action against their political opponents should be ashamed of what they have brought on our country. Violence and hatred must end. My deepest condolences to the Kirk family and prayers for our country. We'll continue to cover this story, of course, as the FBI continues its manhunt for Kirk's killer. You can follow the latest here on the air at KGW.com and on our free streaming TV app, KGW+. Let's take a look now at some world headlines this afternoon. Britain's ambassador to the U.S. was fired today after his ties to convicted sex offender Jeffrey Epstein became public. U.S. lawmakers released a birthday book for Epstein this week, and in that book, now former Ambassador Pete Mandelson wrote a note describing Epstein as his, quote, best pal. London's subway system, known as the Tube, has been shut down for 5 straight days because of a labor strike over pay and work hours. The strike has led to long lines for taxis and a surge in bike traffic. Union leaders say more walkouts could come if they can't reach a deal soon. In France, protesters blocked roads, set fires, and clashed with police earlier today while the country's new prime minister takes over the position. The French Interior Ministry said 473 people were detained, with 80,000 police deployed across the country. And that's a look at some of today's world headlines.